Since the discovery of the first extrasolar planets in the mid-90s, the total count of exoplanets that we know of has about quadrupled every 27 months. Over 4,000 extrasolar planets have now been found so far, and their existence may now be deemed established. Researchers from the University of Hawaii have made a stunning scientific breakthrough. They've discovered an extrasolar planet around 400 light-years away from Earth that is both very new and incredibly hot. However, the reality that a direct picture has been obtained of this newly discovered planet is the reason the scientific world is most excited. Here in this video, we'll talk about the direct imaging of exoplanets by James Webb Space Telescope. Subscribe to this channel if you're ready to take a deep dive into the vast unknown with me as we explore the terrifying discovery on Jupiter. Let's get started. For the most part, the James Webb Space Telescope's near-infrared camera, or NIRCam, is being used as its primary imager. The NIRCam was developed by a group of students at the University of Arizona and can detect infrared light with wavelengths between 0.6 and 6 microns. This imager's mission is to pick up radiation from distant Kuiper Belt stars and early-formed galaxies. The NIRCam has multiple chronographs to capture images of faint or otherwise difficult-to-detect objects. Light from a brighter object is blocked, allowing for imaging of nearby objects with lower light levels. The 10 arrays of the mercury-cadmium telluride detectors in the NIRCam function like the CCDs in a regular digital camera to take pictures. The design of the NIRCam is based on a pair of nearly identical, fully redundant modules that face each other across the sky and point in opposite directions. Both the short and long wavelength channels can be monitored, with both modules in use. By combining these technologies, James Webb's primary imager becomes a potent instrument capable of capturing images of some of the most far-away and faint elements in the universe. An extrasolar planet, often known as an exoplanet, is any celestial body that cannot be found within the boundaries of our solar system. This study of exoplanets is a relatively recent development in the field of astrophysics. Perhaps the first exoplanets were only found in the 1990s, and a number of known exoplanets has increased dramatically since that day. As per NASA's research, the counts have been doubling at a rate of around once every 27 months. Intriguingly, the whole generation has never experienced what it's like to be taught that the solar system contains only 9 planets. Do you still remember those times? In any case, the hunt for the realms beyond Earth, or even planets that seem equivalent to it, have been ongoing for many years. As a result of this quest, scientists and researchers have actually stumbled upon some amazing worlds in their research. In light of the fact that the new planets are unearthed regularly, it's essential to emphasize that uncovering a planet is more complex than it might first appear. If you want to find an extrasolar planet, the first thing you should do is clearly point your observatory towards a star. After that, you have to check for the other, duller objects that are orbiting around the star, because planets are too light to be detected on their own. This, in of itself, would be a very tough task. According to NASA, it's comparable to observing a firefly flying around a flashlight. If finding an extrasolar planet were as simple as finding a planet in our own solar system, we would have found billions of them by today. The first exoplanet was found which way exactly, right? In reality, everything starts with the observation of movement of a star. Although we are forced to learn that the planets in the planetary system rotate around the Sun, this is only a portion of the actuality. In reality, the Sun and the planets revolve around the center of a mass of the solar system itself, rather than the other way around. If we take our own solar system in general, the Sun is the most substantial unit of matter, and as a result is often located in the region nearest to the center of mass, though it tends to move around a little bit. Therefore, the planets that orbit a star further away would also force a star to travel. In order to locate these planets, scientists have relied on the Doppler effect, which is precisely what we have here. In 1992, a groundbreaking finding was revealed that really gave proof that these planets exist, and it was this finding that stunned the scientific world. Utilizing an entirely modified version of the Doppler effect, scientists Alexander Wolskan and Dale Frail were the individuals to proclaim the finding of not just one, but 2 planets equal in mass to the planet Earth. They did this by employing the technique of Doppler imaging. They were looking for items that might be orbiting a massive brilliant star when they came across a pulsar instead, which is, without a question, among the most peculiar things that could be found out in the cosmos. These supernova leftovers are stacked in such a dense manner that they are on the verge of collapsing into a black hole at any time. These entities observed in this location encircling the pulsar are the initial proof of planets outside of our solar system. However, there are many who contend that the fact that it revolves around a pulsar disqualifies it from being considered a planet, After that point, people's conceptions of what planets actually is started gradually shifting. At the Geneva observation deck in Switzerland, 2 researchers were looking for other exoplanets while jointly attempting to boost the Doppler effect. While Michael Mayer and Didier Queloz were observing the night sky, they came across a star similar to the Sun and gave it the destination 51 Pegasi. After making more detailed observations, it appeared that the star 51 Pegasi was traveling at an amplitude of 50 meters per second over 4.2 days. The emission gave the impression that there must be a planet in orbit around the star, with a minimal mass equivalent to Saturn or Jupiter. The only problem had been that the planet was orbiting much too close to its primary star. The space between them was approximately 1/20th of what is between the Earth and Sun. The possibility that there are civilizations outside of our solar system was initially met with skepticism, and only a few people were interested in the possibility. However, what Mayer and Queloz had managed to end up uncovering was the planet that they were familiar with today as a hot Jupiter, which questioned the conventional idea regarding the formation of planets in its entirety. Since then, with the advancement in technology, we have gone on to more efficient and advanced technologies like direct imaging, microlensing, transit routes, and angular velocity, as well as being capable of dispelling various beliefs regarding the planets that lie beyond our solar system. As of right now, nearly 4,000 exoplanets have been found and verified by researchers, and the search for these otherworldly worlds will continue indefinitely. What used to be a notion that was joked about and avoided by many people is now a major discipline of astronomy and has the potential to significantly alter how we comprehend planets and the world that exists outside of our planetary system. The analysis of these extrasolar planets is a crucial key that will help us comprehend how these worlds, including our own, came to be. This is a subject that scientists and physicists are still arguing about to this day. It is incredibly challenging to obtain direct proof of extrasolar planets due to the fact that these planets are much dimmer and smaller than stars they encircle. Rather, the researchers look for a wobbling or weak gravitational influence a planet would have on its host star. This makes the light's wavelength ever so slightly, which can be used to determine the presence of a planet. To really acquire a photograph of an extrasolar planet is a challenge that is very close to being impossible. Consider Pluto as an instance. For many years, the only pictures were possessed of the planet were depicted to be a small blob on the outside of our planetary system. You can easily envision what an alien world on an exoplanet that is thousands of light years in distance would appear like if you consider that Pluto travels approximately 40 times further than Earth around the Sun. Scientists at the University of Hawaii have just successfully obtained a direct photograph of one of the newest planets ever found. The Subaru Observatory in Hawaii was used to make the discovery of the exoplanet 2M0437b, which is the freshest and youngest among all of the known extrasolar planets. Finding such a young planet took a lot of work. It took the study team close to 3 years to follow the star's path throughout the skies until they were eventually able to ascertain that the infant exoplanet was traveling in the same direction as its parent body. This celestial body is, in fact, rather enormous and almost 3 times bigger than Jupiter. In addition, it orbits noticeably far away from its central star, at roughly 100 astronomical units. As a result, it's sometimes referred to as a royal baby exoplanet. The fact that the planet is located so far away from its star usually indicates that it's much too cold to emit any infrared radiation. Yet this is where we can determine how fresh the planet is. The tiny exoplanet is only a few million years old, yet it is already blazing hot because the heat left over from its birth is still powering it. With temperatures ranging from 1400 to 1500 Kelvin, it emits a feeble infrared radiation that enables researchers to detect it from 417 light-years away. Both of the planets and the 2 stars that orbit it are much younger than the planets and stars that we have here in our solar system. It goes without saying that the planet has generated a good deal of enthusiasm, and nobody can dispute that it's merely the starting point. This fortunate discovery adds to an elite list of planets that we can directly observe with our telescopes, said Eric Gatos, the study's main author and instructor at the University of Hawaii. He also added that by analyzing the radiation from this planet, we can determine more about its structure and where and when it was born in a previously lost disk of dust and gas around the host star. Scientists are currently keeping a close eye on the baby planet and the star it orbits, and they anticipate that this newly discovered system might make an ideal subject for additional research. They're considering using the James Webb Space Telescope that NASA is developing. This telescope would, in short, make up for the deficiencies of the Subaru Observatory and assist in the collection of data regarding the atmosphere of the gas giant. The Journal of Notices of the Royal Astronomical Society has only recently made available an article that presents the findings of the comprehensive research project that outline the planet's detection. Do not be fooled by the planet's apparent immaturity. Despite the fact that we still have a great deal more to learn about it, it is currently in the process of producing history. Get your telescopes and get ready to go planet searching. If anything, this ought to be regarded as excellent news for anyone interested in space and amateur astronomers. There's always a chance that you could be the one to discover the next major exoplanet. You really never know. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments section. Also, at last, give a like to this video. See you soon.